This is We Burlesque.
Hi, this is Taz Al Ghul.
This is Lady Sapphire Noir.
Hi, my name is Eartha Kitten.
Hi, I'm Bobby Burlesque, and you're listening to We Burlesque Season 9.
Okay.
This is We Burlesque the podcast, and I'm your host, Victor Devon. And through the miracle of fiber optics, I get to talk to nightlife individuals in the field of burlesque, drag, and who knows what else. And today, you lucky people, I am talking to actual burlesque royalty, recently crowned. The fire is still hot on that stage at the Orleans. I have Jessabelle Thunder, everyone. Hello, hello.
Yay. Hi.
So, obviously, we're about a month out from
Mhm.
when the announcement was made. It was a busy night. A lot of things were going on. People were yelling things in the audience.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that was
there
that was
there were
wild. That was wild.
there were delays in preparing for acts to go. There
Mhm.
was some things that occurred during the announcement process that
Oh
we
my
don't have
gosh,
to get
yes.
into, but at the end of all of that, you were crowned Miss Exotic World 2025. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, that heckler in the audience was wild.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
how the community like instantly like found out who it was and
Oh,
then
we
like
are
what
relentless.
yeah. I was like, dang. I was like, I don't know, the sitting there because I was sitting there in the audience before it was my turn to perform. Obviously, in the first half, I was sat there, and I was like, Who is this? And what are that? Why are you here?" That was
So bold.
insane.
So bold.
That was
I
messed up too. Like, ugh. Anyway, but yeah.
No, yeah, it's real. Well, that's the thing also. So folks who aren't familiar with what we may be referring to, there was somebody who, through either a combination of alcohol and 2025 boldness that we seem to be at,
Yeah.
uh, was yelling things out. Some targeted at performers, some just
Hmm.
random non sequiturs. Um,
Yes.
a lot of us didn't really understand, and and because they weren't microphoned, because they weren't supposed to be saying anything, most of people in the audience were like, "What? What?"
Yeah.
Um, as
Yeah.
someone who is probably, I would say you are recognized as one of the most professional burlesque people to have in a show. You come ready, you go on, you do your thing. I don't know anybody who has back talk to say about you. Um,
Well, that's nice. I hope
it's
not.
is
I'm like, what did I do? If I did anything, it was unintentional. I don't mean any harm to
Well, that's the thing,
anybody.
isn't it? As someone who has been on many a stage of a variety
Yeah.
of, sometimes there's so much in control or out of control. You've done festivals, you've done performing with live bands,
Hmm.
where they're not burlesque audiences. You've improvised.
Yeah.
How long have you been working that stage?
I was gonna say, I was like, that's what happens when you've been doing this for 16 years.
It's a long
You like
time.
you do a lot of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know people have asked me like, what's your favorite stage? What's your favorite audience type? And I'm like, listen, I don't really have a favorite because they all have their specialties, right? Like I feel
Sure.
like when I perform for audiences that don't know burlesque, it's scary. I mean,
Mm,
regardless, it doesn't matter what kind of audience it is, it's scary to me. But it's a little unnerving. But especially when they're like, they don't really know what they're gonna get. And there's a part of me that's like, oh my God, like this is terrifying. But then there's another part of me that's like, no, I get to show them what this is and what I do. And also by being like a Black performer, doing burlesque to show them is even more important and meaningful to like unknown people who don't know like, anything about burlesque. So I like that type. I like the improv because I don't have to think about it, but then I also do have to think about it. But yeah, I've just done it. Yeah, I've done it all in 16 years. I'm grateful for all the experiences I've had because it's helped me shape it shaped me as a person, not just as a performer, but yeah,
Yeah.
me as a person too. Yeah.
How was the first show back from The Crown? What was that first show like? Saying, oh, suddenly I might be in a bar or I might be in a smaller smaller capacity venue.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm surrounded by all this. What was that first show like?
What was my first show back? I can't remember. I want to say it was Seattle. I went to see. I did go to Seattle the next weekend, but I had no. I take that back. I did have. I was looking to say I know I had shows before I left for Seattle. Um, I had. Oh, duh! Wow, my brain. The first show I had was the Monday that Tito and I drove back from Vegas. That night, we had a show, uh, which is funny talking about audiences who don't know. It was a show at the Bungalows in Santa Monica. It's like a members. I had never been there, never heard of it. Right off the beach, kind of not right off the beach, but on Ocean Boulevard. So it's like kind of hidden-ish kind of place. But anyway, it was with Johnny Reinhardt, who's a fabulous cabaret performer, drag. Yeah. So they got requested to do like a pride event for the Bungalows at dinner time. So it was Johnny, Benny Lipson was playing the piano, just the two of them, and then Tito and I were improv dancing. And those people, they I don't know if they liked it or if they didn't care. Some people cared, some people didn't. Yeah, it was really interesting. It was all improv, so it wasn't
Oh,
like me
sure.
doing my own act. So Johnny was singing uh different like piano versions of like disco songs, kind of sort of. So it was like a lot. I don't know, but I guess for me, it felt just like back to normal. It almost felt like that weekend didn't happen. It only was registered in my brain because we had just gotten back, and as Tito was driving, I saw him parking and he was like, "Hey, Queen," out the window as he was driving by as I was walking down the street. So obviously everyone looked around. So that was me. But like it just felt like back to normal, back to the routine. You know what I mean? Like just back in it. It didn't
Yeah.
feel like it didn't feel like this mega like, oh my God, this thing happened. Oh my God. Like it was in my brain, but it was just like, oh right, I still have a job to do because this got booked before BHOF, you know? So
Hmm.
it was kind of like, okay, now I got to like be in this setting where I have to think about improvising and think about this audience who has no clue what they're going to see. So
I,
yeah,
I I
it was
spoke to a
interesting.
few people. I spoke to Winter Sinclair actually, because I know that you were planned for a show in San Diego coming up, and she
Hmm.
was like, sudden like the and I know I saw you also at Gwen Ruby's show
Hmm.
in LA. So the idea of like having all of these existing commitments and suddenly the host and the performer base, that's there's an extra weight to sort of be
Mm.
like, and now we get to say this about you too, because you
Yeah.
were already fabulous enough to get booked, clearly. So no one was jumping on those coattails.
I
But have you felt that anyone's been treating you differently yet?
don't think so. I don't think so. I think it if it is, it goes over my head. I haven't had that experience yet, but I talked to Honeybee
Mm.
on the phone recently, our the last uh queen we had, Miss Exotic World, and she was saying that a lot of these like bookings or things will happen like at the end of the year. So she's like, you'll start to hear people wanting to book you for things because you won at the end of December, right? And I'm like, oh, that makes sense possibly because um everyone has their things booked already. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
unless it's a last minute show that's like, we want you here, but everyone generally has things booked well in advance. So it's not unless they're gonna like make a special thing to slot me in, which I doubt, but it could happen. But anyway,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
haven't had anyone come forward and just be like, "Oh, we have to book the Queen of Brit." Like that hasn't happened. It's just like regular life. It's regular life, but I feel the what I guess the difference is still trying to think of how to say it, but it's a little bit more weight on my shoulders if that hear me out.
Sure. No, no,
Like
go ahead. I understand.
I was already not even like in the sense of like community in the sense of me performing on a stage, right? So when I did the show with Gwen Ruby, Herbal Elegance, like Coco said like, oh, these accolades, and then said the Queen of Burlesque, and I was last, and I was like, oh fuck. Now I have to make sure I'm good because if I suck, people are gonna be like, oh my God, she sucks. Why did she win? And I had already, before this title had happened, when people would say she's top 50, she's traveled the world, like all these things people would say as hosting before BHOF, I would be like, please, can we just say it as an outro? Because it makes me even more nervous and I put so much pressure on myself. And if I suck, I feel so bad. And so it's my brain. That's how my brain works. It
No,
makes
that's
me,
real.
yeah, it just makes me feel even more pressure. So I'm like, can we only have outros from now on? Like, don't say it. Don't say it in the beginning.
That's the thing is, I mean, we love a title, we love a bio and a tagline, and sort of like
Yeah.
amping up. And unlike some of the counterparts that we sometimes refer to the Burlesque Hall of Fame Weekender as sort of like, or the Miss Exotic World Pageant as almost like the Oscars or it's almost
Hmm.
like the actually it's really more like the Screen Actors Guild or something like that.
Hmm.
But or not quite Miss America because it but a lot of those
Yeah.
the weight in addition to how you are looked at as an example off stage also
Hmm.
becomes a big thing. And as someone who seems to really mind their own business online, and not necessarily get involved in some of the things that other people so willfully, get with their foot in their mouth.
Hmm.
Uh, do you feel, or is there an expectation perhaps in the way that even like Samsonite has, who was an excellent ambassador for the
Hmm.
Burlesque Hall of Fame, and Neo Burlesque at large,
Hmm.
to be more visible or to be more verbal or to get out there and say, by the way, I'm speaking as Burlesque Inc. almost.
Uh, yeah, I thought about that like even before like competing this year. I've just thought like in the past, I was like, do I really want to win the queen title? Like as I competed for other times, I love to compete at BHOF because it makes me elevate it. It makes me want to elevate myself even more. So that's why I honestly do it. And I get to just be there on that stage and it's such a great time and whatever. So I always thought in the past, like, do I really want to be the queen? Because that comes with so much pressure and so much expectation. And then it's happened obviously now. And I love it. And I'm so grateful for it. And I feel so honored. But I've heard people just tell me like you don't it's your own journey. You can do
Mm,
with it what you will. There's nothing that says you have to be this outspoken person about every issue. They were like, you don't. They were like, honestly, if you feel like you have to speak out about every issue, it's going to drain you. And I'm like, that's so true. It was nice to hear that I didn't have to be a mouthpiece in that sense and to jump in on every issue, right? Like
mhm,
my main concern, even before this title happened, I've said it so many times to people. My main concern right now is making burlesque more visible in the eyes of regular people. So I don't have time for dramas. I never had time for dramas because I got other shit to do, like to
mhm,
figure out. And so I kind of put that aside because my main drive is like always been like I'm trying to get burlesque in front of people's eyes to see it as an art form, to value it and respect it and love it the way that we all do. Like
mhm,
that is what my focus is. And I feel like if I jump in and say these things within the community, it could be helpful. You know, if there's something I really feel like I need to say, I should say I'm gonna say it. But if not, I'm gonna keep focusing on what I strive to do, which is like build up burlesque in the eyes of build it up in general, but build it up in front of the eyes of like the people who are going to come pay the tickets because that's how we get more venues. That's how we get more notable. Like I need butts in seats. I need people to be excited about this because that's how it becomes a bigger thing
mhm,
for everyone. Right. So
mhm.
that's my main thing right now. I just like
Well,
I mind my own business because I just honestly I don't have the time and energy. I really don't. I don't in general. But if I have something to say, I will speak up and say it for sure. You know,
there's
definitely.
no contract with the Burlesque Hall of Fame as a winner the same way that like Miss America you probably have like oh, what do they call it? I forget, like where you have to be not ethics, but there's something I forget what
Mm,
that's referred to as.
the
But
ambassador?
sort of like there's like a morals clause. Like you have to
Oh,
sort of like you
oh.
can't like you can't be seen smoking pot or drinking or doing these
Ah,
things
No,
because
Beehoff doesn't
you're
have that.
representing a brand. But
Yeah.
you're an independent who's
Hmm.
been bestowed an honor, but they're not. Burlesque Hall of Fame isn't saying, and this is how you become or stay our ambassador. Um,
Mm-mm.
Presumably, unless you do something really fucked up, which
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Which God, I hope not. Touch wood, I hope not. I don't. I would hope I wouldn't do anything. But yeah, there's no
I
like,
don't see it coming. I don't see it
there's
for you.
no, there's no contract that says anything like that. I think if anything, Beehoff would be like, if I could, like, the joke is like, I feel like they'd be like, no, go out and smoke weed and do that thing, right? That'd be the contract. It wouldn't be like, don't do it. Be
They
naked.
would want it to be a little bit more punk rock, frankly.
Yeah,
Probably.
exactly,
Yeah. I mean, then
exactly.
you'd be more in common with the legends, frankly.
Yeah, seriously, seriously. I do want some fun stories to tell one day, like the legends.
What is your relationship now and before with the Burlesque Hall of Fame Museum, which obviously you are the most recent winner and you are the last before it faces indefinite closure as a
I
physical
know.
space.
It's wild.
Um, yeah. And but obviously the Weekender predates the
Hmm.
actual museum. There's
Hmm.
so many moving parts. There's so many things with Jenny Lee's and Dixie's legacies. But
Hmm.
what was your relationship learning what the Burlesque Hall of Fame was and how you relate to the history that it provides?
Well, how I relate to the history, I just like read because there is like a little like Beehoff handbook thing that you just kind of like pages that you go through and read, and a contract to sign just says like I accept this kind of thing. Anyway, all that to say,
Okay.
I was reading through it, and it was telling the story of like the goat farm and things like that, which I've heard, but not in enough detail over the 16 years, you know? So it was
Hmm.
really like cool to read that and hear that like what I want to do is what was Jenny Lee and Dixie's like driving force too was to get it in front of more people. I mean, the unionizer, right? Like that too, like from Jenny Lee, but also like to have this museum and to hold this like to create this legacy that would just keep living on and to get more eyes on it, to collect more things. Like I was like, oh sweet. Like I'm still trying to like do that. I'm still trying to like be that thread, keep the thread going basically, like they kind of were without the artifacts. I don't have people's artifacts, but maybe one day I will
Okay.
and can donate stuff. But yeah, I feel like I relate like totally to like the history in that regard. But with the history of the museum itself, I can't remember the first year I went to Beehoff was probably like 2011. That was an interesting
It's a
time.
long
And I
time.
was
It's a long
like,
time ago.
it was a long time ago. I was like, it was at the plaza. I can't remember which, if it was the first time or second time at the plaza. I don't know. It was ages ago. It was the Beehoff Weekender. And I had been to the museum when it was a tiny hole in the wall at the art gallery around the corner from my favorite vegan donut place. Uh, I was going there back then, and chatting with like Darby and everyone else who used to work in there. Um, yeah, it was there. It was as tiny as my bedroom is right now. That's how tiny it was back in the day. So I was really happy to see that it went to a much bigger space and that there's a vast collection now that can be on display. Like, that's so great. But yeah, that was back when I first started. Like, I was grateful that I went to do classes with Penny Star Jr. and Jewel of
Mm.
Smile because in those classes, that's where they spoke about the history of burlesque. Like there are some classes out there in the world that are just like, oh, do this thing and then get on the stage and perform and whatever, whatever. Right? It's cool. But there are other people who teach classes who also take time to teach the history of it. And I appreciated that. I appreciated that I got to be part of that and know about not only the history of like burlesque in general, but also about like LA burlesque history because Penny Star Jr. was doing a documentary on Velvet Hammer and Jewel was part of that and Penny was part of, so I got the inside scoop from them too about that, which I didn't know a thing about. And so many people nowadays don't remember or recall that or know about it at all. So I was really grateful that I got that like insight early on. So it made me excited and curious about Beehoff Museum and Beehoff Weekender because they were like, you have to go see these things. So that's why I went. and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. Have you been able to establish or maintain any relationships with any specific legends that you either learn directly from or that you just look at in awe?
I mean, it's so interesting. It's so I don't really know the right words like put it together. But anyway, like a legend that I knew pretty well, but I don't that sadly she passed away was Kit Natividad. Like I didn't
Mhm.
spend time with her like on our own, but I would see her out and about and we knew each other. We were like chit chatty, things like that. Um and then Shenandoah, I had a little relationship with Tiffany Carter, but I don't like sit down and chat to them outside of like shows, which
Mhm.
I feel like obviously that's something that needs to change now that the title has happened. I feel like that's my duty now, even more so than it was before.
Hmm.
Um, but so those are legends that I like know really well and they know me. Um, but the other piece of that is like they're so I don't know how to call them legends, but I have so much personal connection because they're friends of mine with like LA, not even just LA. Well, I'll just say LA for now. In general, like icons, but
Hmm.
LA people that have been there from the start. Like I wouldn't say they're legends because
Icon is
I don't
fair.
know.
I think Icon is. I
Yeah.
think I talked to Desiree about it, Desiree Demore, and
Hmm.
Icon seems to be a fair
Yeah. Like,
nomenclature for that
yeah.
neo burlesque era.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah,
so many people that I feel honored that I have close personal connections with that have been doing burlesque for several decades, right? Like
yeah,
they're not considered legends yet, but they are like true icons. Like, Jewel of Denial was there, like Audrey Deluxe,
yeah.
Vanessa Burgundy, like people in LA, the Pooh Bell twins, Rita from Lucha Vavoom, like all these people have been doing it for ages. And then not outside of LA, like Joe Boobs, I know really well, like all like so many people that are still doing it to this day. Like I have a relationship with those people and I really, really value and appreciate that. Because I feel like I can go to them with tons of questions or, and hear stories from them too. So which I
Oh,
think is
absolutely.
as important as hearing it from the legends as well because they have they're more a bit more recent, so they know what things have shifted to, you know,
Well,
and they
they
continue.
have a little bit more. I mean, with they're still working. Like the fact that I can
Mhm.
consider someone like Tigger both a colleague and
Mhm.
a mentor in a fashion,
Mhm.
but a friend as well,
Yeah.
is sort of fascinating to me. But
Mhm.
to know that their story actually has a stronger parallel than a lot of these other burlesque house storylines.
Mm.
Because if you listen to even like the original stories that the legends say, either at the panel or in general, a lot of their stories are not club based the same way that
Mhm.
ours are.
Yeah.
And there was more of a touring element, although of
Mhm.
course you are a touring showgirl as well. But for a lot of folks, it was sort of regional and segmented, and
Yeah.
you saw these people in passing. But you talk about like the New York neo scene or the
Mhm.
neo scene or this scene in Chicago. They were
Mhm.
direct scenes, like they really were um, of the same principal
Mhm.
people. And I think that
Yeah.
there's a little bit more in connection, particularly as the style is also a little different. And I'm gonna
Mhm.
ask you about what it means specifically to be, because let's not forget that you also won a trophy for most classic.
Oh yeah.
What does most classic as a designation mean for you? And
Yeah.
how do you represent classic? Because classic is, I don't know if any of us can agree on what it
Yeah,
means.
exactly. I don't really think I know because when that got, I mean, okay, before I answer this, in whatever way I'm going to answer it, going back to like the parallel, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking about, but not saying
Mm,
probably right. But like the people who are like the icons who are still doing it now, and so the legends are still doing it now too. Like Tiffany has so many fucking shows. Like I
mm,
love doing shows with Tiffany, and I love hearing those stories. But it is like hearing their stories from back in the day is so like I'm in awe of it. Like hearing how
yeah.
much they got paid, all the venues they went to, that they had, some of them had agents, and I'm like, whoa, what? It
Right,
feels
right,
fantastical. But then we
right.
hear stories from like Tigger and Joe and like Audrey and Penny, all these people who we still are colleagues and friends with, and you're like, oh, this feels like it resonates even more with me because you're in it. We
Right.
like we're get parallel, like you said. That's a great word. Like we're
You've
parallels.
also
Like
changed in the freezer next to the liquor. Like
yeah,
you've all
exactly, exactly. You've changed in that little ass dressing room at Nurse Betty, not dressing room. I'm sorry, take that back. It's not a dressing room.
it's a bar.
That corner, the corner of the bar at Nurse Betty. I've heard so many people over my several years of doing burlesque. This is a tangent.
Oh
Um,
yes.
that would always tell me like, oh my God, Nurse Betty, like you did that, if you do that show, like Nurse Betty, that dressing area is crazy. Like, oh my God, like people talking shit about the dressing area. And I was like, how small it was. And I remember being like, yeah, whatever. Like I've changed in closets, liquor cabinets, it's not a big deal to me. I can handle it. And then I did a show there and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
Yeah.
I
It's not a closet.
understand. It's not, I
It's
could
not
not
even a
bend, I couldn't bend down to take off my shoes. I was like,
yeah.
this is real bad. And people were not kidding. I just thought they were being like, cheeky. No, they weren't kidding. It's like, it's a great space, a great performance area. I loved it. It was so
Yeah.
much fun. But I will never forget dismissing people's comments and be like, oh, I can handle it. And then getting there and being like, oh my God. Crazy.
The
Uh,
glamour. Yes.
yeah.
Mm.
Sorry. Okay, but sorry, most classic.
Yeah.
Anyway, I, oh man, where do I even start? Like when they gave it to Raven,
Mm.
when her name was called, I was like, yeah, like hands down, yes, Raven, that classic. It was a beautiful act. And then the kerfuffle of being like, actually, that was wrong. It's Jessabelle. I was like, what?
Mm.
For multiple reasons, because I was like, oh no, they called someone else, and she deserved that. And also, was it? I guess I don't fucking know. Like in my brain in that second, I was like, what? I guess it was classic. Was it? And I was like, oh my God, I don't want this award. I felt so bad taking it. Probably, I don't know if people can read my lips or whatever, but I told her, I was like, I don't want to take it from you. I was like, just give me the bag and take the trophy.
Gives me
I still feel bad about it. I was like, you can keep the trophy. I'll take the bag. But then she's like, no, you gotta take it. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, yeah,
yeah.
so then like getting most classic, I was like, oh, was it classic? I guess it's classic in the sense of like the music was bluesy,
Mm.
the costuming was just your typical corset gown situation. There was a boa, there wasn't any giant props, but that's also classic. I don't know. Classic has changed. I think when I first started, I thought classic was like just vintage music
Sure.
and a gown and a gown and glove peel and a
Hmm.
beautiful gown. That's what I thought. And feather fans and a boa. But then over time, you just see how people interpret classic so differently. I don't know if it's like in terms of the storytelling, the movements, the costuming. I don't know what defines classic. I can tell you what nerdlesque is, but I can't tell you really what classic is
Yeah.
per se because yeah, I don't know. We all have a different definition of it. And I can see a clearly classic act and be like, that's classic as shit. Like just showgirl, like vague vintage,
Mm.
like yes, that's that for me. I'm like, oh, that's classic. But I'm trying to think of like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what comes to mind in my head. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess like I don't know. I don't know who I pops in my head right now. But anyway, like I can give a clear definition of like, oh, I think that's classic. But then I'll see someone
Yeah.
else do an act and I'm like, oh, that's definitely classic, but they put a twist on it.
Hmm.
Um, which it's pretty cool that we can just like, there is no clear definition, I think, because oh yeah. I don't know. I think it's cool. There's no definitive answer
Right.
because it could make it whatever you want it to be. Because Nerdless could also be classic.
I'm sure. Well, this it's because it doesn't have a finite historical reference. Because even if we look at
Mm-hmm.
our legends, a lot of them weren't rhinestoning. If you look at our
Mm-hmm.
legends, some of them were doing full nude,
Mm-hmm.
or 15-minute acts where they were sort of segmented,
Yeah.
um, or shake dancing, which has its own history, and
Mm-hmm.
go-go and things like that, which the relationship with the laws that would come up
Mm-hmm.
depending on where you were And I think and then this concept of sort of like this Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield look. But Marilyn
Hmm.
Monroe and Jane Mansfield weren't burlesque performers. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, the is something like Lucille Ball with the whip and the cat dancers burlesque ish? Sure.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
classic? It's iconic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing is there's so much possibilities, and then you also get like the baggy pants comedians, and then you
Hmm.
get like, well, what about the oyster girl? Like, what do you do? Like, how do you the hoochie coochie girls next to the sideshow? Like,
Yeah.
that's historical.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes people can use classic as a weapon, and they can use it with an agenda in mind.
Hmm.
I find the word polish to also, we're starting to use that as a weapon in
Mm.
booking and in casting. The concept of what polished means.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I have my own, as a hobo clown, I have my own feelings about that, of
Hmm.
course, anyway. But because I'll tell you right now, I know exactly what I'm doing out there, but I'm
Yeah.
not dripping in sequins.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone's going to come from a different perspective and a different thing, and I think one of the great things about watching something like the Burlesque Hall of Fame, we're gonna move beyond the Burlesque Hall of Fame in just a moment.
Hmm. Hmm.
But obviously it's three current events
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Exactly.
you. Um,
Pretty big
it
deal.
does. We see as we walk exactly. We walk through the museum, or we watch the shows, or we watch the showcases, or we see the types of people that are represented or being
Hmm.
honored. Like what a what fabulous soup! What a wonderful salad of folks. Like
Yeah.
Hey, this is Victor, and I would really like to thank the folks on the Patreon. It really does make a difference. I know this is one of those times in the world where we're like, who the hell has the $20? Who has the $5? Who has a buck? Well, if you do, thanks. If you can throw it at me. I understand that we have a lot of other concerns out there, what with social justice and also groceries. So if you happen to have it and you want to throw some dollar bills at the entertainment art that We Burlesque and Victor Devon puts out there, it helps me a great deal because there are some very real bills that come with podcasting. It's a lot of fun. It's all I know how to do, except dance around on stage and put on shows. But it does cost money. Ugh. But there are some folks who throw me some dollars on Patreon, and I would like to give them a lot of love. And those names today are Goosey Gander, Roxy Reverie, Faye Havoc, Tiffany Lane, Madam E, I Red, Shimmy LaRue, Curly Bright, Oliver Swisky, Sebastian Crane, Horace Stilton, Alex Colad, Bo Britches, Luna Delight, and Stormageddon. Y'all mean the world to me. Thank you so very, 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 very much. If you would like to support the pod, by doing so, you can go to patreon.com/weburlesque. If you don't have the dollars, I understand. You can also go like, follow, subscribe on all the things, even if you don't listen, but also listen. Please do that too. And comment. Not only do I see those comments and feel really good about myself, but the people that are parts of these shows get to see those comments and know that what they're doing resonates in the world. So, thank you very much. Be well.
Yeah. I definitely, when you were talking about the weaponizing of classic, I was like, oh yeah, I do remember that. I remember that time. I think, I think that time still happens, honestly.
yeah,
But I just, because I've been doing this for so long, I just go, whatever. Like, middle finger to you. I'm gonna do my own version of classic. Do you know what I mean? But like back
Sure.
when I first started, people would be like, "Oh, we want classic," and what they meant was like a thin white woman dressed
Yeah.
in rhinestones, and that was like, and I would get like so butthurt about it. But then I was like, "Oh, I'm never gonna be classic." And then as I kept growing and doing more things, I was like, "Oh no, I can just shape and do whatever I want to do." And just because they're defining this as classic, right? That was their way of
Uh-huh.
weaponizing it, being like, we only want this particular person. And so I would do like that. Honestly, the blue fringy dress I have that people fucking love, the beaded one that's heavy as shit. Like
Hmm.
I created that. I bought those costume pieces because usually I go with like a song and then I create costuming or whatever, in my head. Anyway, with that particular costume, I was like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. People are like saying they want classic and they're not seeing me as classic. So I'm going to give them a classic as shit fucking costume and act. And let's see if I still get booked or if the real reason is because I'm a black woman doing this. Like when I bought that dress, that was what I had in my head. That is exactly what I had in my head. I was like, let's see if those private gigs come up. Let's see if people who say they want classic will book me now because I have this right in my brain. I was like, this classic ass song, Night
Hmm.
Train in Sway, which I love that act now. My favorite, one of my favorites. They're all my favorites. Actually, can't really choose. Anyway,
They're your
I
children.
chose
How could you possibly?
exactly. I chose those two songs. I was like, I'm gonna get this expensive ass looking dress. I'm gonna sit here and rhinestone the shit out of this corset, which still needs rhinestoning work. I was like, this is gonna be my act that I'm gonna see if I'm gonna test it out and I'm gonna see what the real reason is. And I don't have a lot of private gigs. So I wonder what the real reason is.
And yet you have managed to make your mark substantially. What was it? A week earlier than Burlesque Hall of Fame, you were on stage with Lizzo.
Yeah, because of that
What
blue
was
beaded
that?
dress. So it's got me a lot of things, just not the exact thing I was looking for in that moment. But over time, it's gotten me quite a few things because people love that dress and those videos have gone viral and people are looking at it.
Mm,
Um, fatigue. Well, that happened because of Dirty, an icon, right? An absolute icon. I love that we're like connected like that. But
hmm.
they were wanting some burlesque on stage. They don't want drag because they're like, everyone's going to be doing drag. We want to make it camp, but have it be something different. And so I guess someone in her team thought about burlesque, and so they'd asked Dirty Martini, and Dirty was obviously with Jita doing
Mm.
stuff. So Dirty's like, I can't do it, but I gave them your name. I hope that's okay. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I think that's more than okay. But yeah, so I met with Fatima Robinson, like the absolute icon choreographer, like inspiring. But in talking to her, she was like, "Oh, so Dirty gave me your name." So when I went on Instagram to look to find you, your video had just magically popped up with you in this beautiful beaded gown, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like that video is still go. I posted that video in December. This happened a month ago or so. That
Yeah.
this Lizzo thing happened. I was like, "This video is still going around. People love that fucking dress." So it's got me pretty far. But initially, in my head, I was like, "We're testing this out right now." So it's got me further than what I wanted. So I'm very grateful.
It's that hit single effect. If somebody says, "Oh, I know you from such and such," yes, ride that till the
Yeah,
wheels fall
it's
off.
true.
Do it,
It's
do it, do
true.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like my whole Instagram is just gonna be that dress now.
So
Oh my
let's
gosh.
let's let's go back. Where does the Jezebel Thunder experience start? Are you a Southern Californian?
Yes, born and raised in LA. Never lived anywhere else. My dream is to live in London. I'm still working on trying that out. I try it
Mm.
out. I take it back. I try it out every year, but I'm working
Mhm.
on officially, legally making it happen.
Ah.
Yeah, that's been in works for the last couple of years. But what was I saying? Oh, born and raised in LA. I'm not, I tell people all the time, I'm not a theater person. I'm not a singer in front of the stage. I'm just a person that just was always in the background and never wanted to be, well, not, I won't say never. There was a part of me way, way in the back that wanted to be like in the front, but I was like, nah, I can't. I don't want to be seen. I want to be invisible. So I was like in choir, but it was like a group choir. I didn't want to do any solos. But yeah, I was just always that person. And then I went to get a master's degree to become a therapist. And I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? If I'm gonna be anyone's therapist, I need to like be confident and like, put myself out there because I'm gonna be like in that position where I'm gonna have to be not someone like just a confident person who knows what they're
Mhm.
talking about and be able to comfortably talk to people openly.
Mhm.
And so I was like, okay, I got to have a bucket list of things I want to try and take risk and like push myself outside my comfort zone. And simultaneously, I went to 40 Deuce in Las Vegas because they closed the one in LA, which was like someplace I always wanted to go to. And so I saw 40 Deuce Burlesque show in Vegas. And then my boyfriend at the time was with me and he was like, this is so cool. I'm like, yeah, let's go back to LA and find more. So I found more burlesque in LA that wasn't 40 Deuce. It was like Peep Show, Menagerie, Devil's Playground. Like those are the first two shows I think I saw. And then he put me in a class, like to shorten the story, he put me
Mhm.
in a school of burlesque with Penny and Jewel, not knowing who they were or anything about it. He's like, I found it online, so I put you in it. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I didn't want to go because I was terrified to go. So I'm just like, I'm not that person. I didn't want to like be in the forefront. And then I like didn't also think I could ever do it because I saw people doing it like Dita and mostly white ladies. So I was like, oh, there's no place for me. I couldn't do it. But then honestly, being in that class with all the people I'm still connected to today, like
Mhm.
no one looked like that Dita Von Teese version of burlesque. Like no one in my class that I can even remember. I'm pretty sure no one in that class did. And it was so nice to like, that was my intro. Like, yes, I saw 40 Deuce, which everyone looked thin and they were great, amazing dancers. And they're also people that I know still to this day, which is pretty fucking cool. But yeah, seeing them and then being like, I can't do it. And then coming to this class where everyone was like different ages, different body shapes, different ethnicities. I was like, oh my God, this is kind of cool. So then I just took it upon myself to continue on to the advanced graduation level of courses because I was like pushing myself outside my comfort zone. Just be like, I'll do it one time and just say that I did it just to like give myself some more confidence and gusto. And then now here I am. End of story. Sorry, that was long.
Well, what do you think? No, please, that's what this is all about. Uh, was the vibe like for you when you first began, like when you first realized, oh, I'm going to keep doing this? Not necessarily the first show, but um, how did you is how different from the original roots of what Jessabelle Thunder was doing on stage is what you've got going now? Is it just a matter of more
Hmm.
self-awareness or
I definitely think more self-awareness, but I cannot recall the moment I thought I'm going to keep doing this. I
Hmm.
was just like, I feel like I was constantly chasing something that kept me going, if that makes sense. Like the first
Sure.
time I performed, I was like, oh, that was shitty. I'm going to do it again and I'm going to do it better. And the second time I did, I was like, no, I'm going to do it better. And then over time, it became like, okay, well, now I want to be in this show. So I'm going to create this act. And now I want to be on this stage. So I'm going to be stage kitten for them and I'm going to create act eventually. Like it always was me, like not consciously being like, I'm going to make this a huge thing in my life. It was just like, no, I want to do this. So I'm going to push myself to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be in that show. Oh, I need 2 acts for this show. Oh, I'm going to create a second act. Oh, I need 3 acts for this. I'm going to create another act. It just kind of like just unconsciously happened in the
Hmm.
beginning for many years. And then I got asked to travel towards the beginning. I can't remember the first place I went. It must have been like I want to say it's San Francisco, but someone like invited me to go out of LA to perform or Vegas, one of those somewhere close enough that I could drive. And I was like, wait. I can travel and do this and see more and get paid? Like what? And there's festivals. And so I was like, oh my God, now I have to like do all these things. So I want to like see the world. And so my goal in the beginning was like, I want to see the world through burlesque. That was my goal for so long. And it's happened. It is happening currently. I'm so grateful. Like going to Japan and Australia, like whoever thought that would happen in my life? I definitely didn't. Uh, but I was like, that's my goal for so long. And then as I've gotten older and as I've gotten more, like you said, like self aware in this art form and more involved in different spaces and communities and traveling, all these things have like shifted my goal to being like, I want to show Black burlesque and my burlesque to people around the world and everywhere. And now I guess currently sitting here, I'm like, no, now I just not even the world in different countries, but just like the world in general needs to see that this exists,
Hmm.
and I would love to be like a driving force for that. Like just traveling to places like went to Iceland and performed. There's no black people in Iceland. They were there, but they were tourists. I'm sure there are probably other people somewhere, but like being in places like that where there's not a lot of people that look like me and being
Mm.
able to show them like, oh, like so I think sorry, I keep stopping myself. That's what I do. But anyway,
That's good. That's
they
good.
were like, they were like, oh, you're like you do burlesque. Like this is so cool to see someone that looks like you doing burlesque. And actually, in Prague, someone came up to me that weren't black and said that, and they were like, I've never seen a black person do burlesque. This was amazing. And I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, you're not. It's probably very true. And like, I I think past me would have been like slightly like offended by that comment, but I was like, no, I hear what you're saying. That's the
Mm.
problem. That's the problem
Mm.
that needs to be
Mm.
sorted. Because not just in burlesque in general, but just representation in the world at large of different people. Obviously, I'm a black woman, so I want more representation of like black people doing things,
Mhm.
because I've spent my whole I'm talking forever, sorry, but I've spent my whole life like wishing that I looked and was someone different because I didn't see myself represented in different things that I watched and looked at.
Mhm.
That's like growing up. So then like becoming a burlesque performer and traveling the world and like I now I get to be that part of that representation. I get to like showcase it. I get to be that. I get to
Mhm.
own myself, own my blackness more, and then I get to like put it out there in the world so other people can see themselves in me somehow, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I think we're at a weird culture clash of diversity being suddenly a bad thing again.
Mm-hmm.
The wrong people are getting bold again. That heckler
Mm-hmm.
is in the world. That
Yeah.
that's the thing. And now everything we're using DEI instead of political
Mm-hmm.
correctness or instead of any other euphemism for bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to apply to different bodies, it's going to apply to different skin tones, gender expressions, sexualities, all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of things. And I think that since that's going to happen anyway, most of us sort of have to say, well, fuck it. I don't really know what to tell you. Like this is the
Mm-hmm.
body that I got, and
Mm-hmm.
this is what I know how to do. And I keep getting asked to be here, so I guess I'm going to keep doing it. Like I don't really know what to tell you, folks.
Yeah.
Um, And what I find very often happens in burlesque, and I've talked a lot about it on the pod, is that a lot of burlesque fans are other burlesque performers, and a lot of burlesque
Mm-hmm.
performers either started off as fans or a lot of people in the audience still are burlesque performers. It's hard to
Mm-hmm.
get, as you said, those butts in the seats, that non-stripper wallet in the door, basically,
Mm-hmm.
that non-performer engaged. And I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to make people give a fuck. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's going to be different show to show. It's going to be different region to region. I
Mm-hmm.
wish that like you and Honeybee and Samson and any or Frankie, any of the people who have ever either won a title, I want you on Good Morning America. There's no reason
Mm-hmm.
y'all shouldn't be
Yeah.
included on a larger scale. And I have to say, and I'm gonna geek out for just a moment here. I was very, very
Mm-hmm.
thrilled to see you on something like Very Delta,
Mm-hmm.
because not only am I a huge fan of Delta work, and I have been for a very long time,
Yeah.
uh, but the idea that it could be brought to an audience that wouldn't necessarily,
Mm.
and I know part of that's because that's SoCal and you run in similar circles and what have you,
Yeah. We grew up in
but
the same city.
there you go. I mean, but
Yeah.
suddenly
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
in wherever, because of Delta's reach, is able to see you. And I know
Mm-hmm.
Tito Bonito has also been on the pod. I don't know if any other
Yeah.
burlesque folks have. Uh,
I think just the two of us.
I
Yeah.
look forward to more. I look
Yeah.
forward to more
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's still that last scene outside
Mm-hmm.
after drag to really hit. I don't want to say mainstream, but
Yeah.
to really hit recognition.
It's
All
so
of the calls
true.
are still coming from inside the house. We don't have Reddit
Yeah.
discussions dedicated to us. I don't know if we can handle that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's the
Yeah.
last thing, I think. I think it's the last one, and I think some of that really has to do with misogyny and
Mm, yeah.
uh body judgment,
Yeah.
frankly,
No,
and
totally.
whorephobia. Yeah.
Yep. All the things. And people not being uh knowledgeable about what it is too. Like, I don't know, people hear burlesque and yeah, I guess like they think nudity, they think that and they just I don't want to see it. I don't care. Like or like you said, different bodies. But I feel like I'm trying to feel like how to say this, but like not enough people yeah, because it's not as widespread, just pass their own judgment or make up their minds about what they think it is without seeing it or researching it or hearing people talk about it in depth. Like, that's I feel like a big piece that also is missing. Yeah, that's missing. I feel like this a huge piece that's missing. Definitely is getting a further more of a reach past social media even. Like you said, like I've tried to like hit up radio stations locally to be like, hey, I'd love to come talk about burlesque. I've hit up like NBC LA to be like, hey, I'd love to come talk about what's going on in the city of LA with burlesque, and no one's gone back to me, or they've been like, oh no, we'll pass. And I'm like, why? Why are you like this? And I think it's because, yeah, like you said, misogyny. People don't want to see the different bodies. People think it's boring. People just have this misinformation and this judgment about it all right off the bat without,
Mhm.
hearing more details or even trying to see multiple variations of it too, right? Because sometimes people see one act somewhere and they're like, oh, I don't like it, and they don't care to go see it anymore. They're just like, oh, whatever. I saw it that one time. I didn't like it. As opposed to being like, maybe you didn't like the space. Maybe you didn't
Mhm.
like that particular show. That's fine. Go see another one. Like there, I don't know. There's so many issues that are underlying with it. But yeah, I definitely think it needs more of a reach. And I think in people seeing me do it as a Black woman could also open their minds, is my hope, to being like, I want to see lots of people doing it. Not just
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to go see Black Bliss. They'll be like, oh, wait, Black people do this? Oh, maybe people that look like me do it. Maybe
Yeah.
different, like, maybe trans people do it. Maybe like other queer people do. Like, people get more curious, I think, when they see something outside of what they think it should look like or is going to look like. So I think that is my hope too, is that like I can not only be a caveat for like other Black performers, but also
Mm.
it just the diversity in beauty standards too, right? And diversity in
Right.
all of that in art. Like I hope that's like something I can like be a caveat for. Is that the right word? I think so.
Uh,
Conduit? Is that the other word maybe I'm
or
thinking of?
conduit. That conduit would be
Okay.
perfectly good
Okay,
too.
that's probably the word. That's the word probably I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Video games are a unique medium.
They can tell stories,
Immerse us in strange, fantastic worlds.
blur the very boundaries of our reality.
But at the end of the day, video games are fun. Whatever fun is to you.
I'm Jeff Moonen,
And I am Matt, aka Stormageddon.
and on Fun and Games, we talk about the history, trends, and community of video games.
It's a celebration of all the games we play and all the fun we find within them.
And there's so many more games out there, so we hope you'll share in that conversation with us.
Fun and Games podcast with Matt and Jeff. Find us on certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
And happy gaming.
Are you looking for a show where the glamour is real and the stories are juicy? Learning about history is fascinating, especially when it's all glitter and glam.
Join May December and me, Iona Fortune, for Let's Burlesque, where every episode dives into the dazzling world of burlesque legends, scandals, and stardom.
You can find us twirling it on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook. And check out even more backstage goodies on our blog at letsburlesquepodcast.wordpress.com.
Because talking about burlesque history keeps the tassels spinning.
You can find Let's Burlesque Podcast wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. Papa Pasty.
Well, because what it allows is it allows you to be one of the defaults. And then there,
Mm-hmm.
as much as I love a a modifier or
Mm-hmm.
an adjective, to say I'm a burlesque performer without having to add on additional because it's clear
Mm-hmm.
about everything else.
Yeah.
And this is going to happen with you, not just because of the color of your skin as the default, or the way that you present your femininity on stage, or what that quote unquote may mean for other people, but as
Mm-hmm.
you age and as
Mm-hmm.
as our bodies change over the years, um, as long as the longer you stick with this,
Yeah.
your intersections will grow for
Mm-hmm.
all of us, really. I mean, even if
Yeah.
you are that privileged thin white girl archetype that we associate,
Mm-hmm.
invariably something will alter
Yeah.
that archetype if they're blessed with long working long enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
uh,
Damn, I've been saying caveat for so long. So I was thinking,
um
oh, now I
this
know.
is the thing. We don't have media training. We don't have our. I mean, everyone. See, this, folks. This is what happens with Chapel Roan. That's why everyone gets mad at her.
But
Uh,
wait, what? Why? What did
oh,
she?
because she's not the most articulate sometimes on
Oh,
interviews, or because she
oh,
sometimes says things and then therefore. But she's
okay.
also I'm also a fan, so I've mentioned her on the pod before, and sort of like, you know what? Sometimes I don't like kids either, so I don't understand why. Um,
Oh my
as someone
God.
who I hope that it does happen where folks look at you guys or you folks and say, tell us more. I mean, you've done I don't know if you've done specifically a mentorship, but I know that you've done classes and workshops. What are
Mhm.
some of your favorite things to share with newcomers to the field
In terms of performance or in terms of
in
like
terms of
advice,
instruction,
instruction?
however you
Uh,
you take that, whether it's advice
hmm,
or physicality?
hmm. Gosh, what have I said to people over time? Uh, I don't, yeah, oh my God. I mean, I guess what comes to my head immediately, I know I've said a bunch of stuff to people, and if I sat down and really thought about it for 30 minutes, I can come up with a lot of stuff. But off the top of my head, uh, I have told people in the past, like, that you don't have to have like 10 acts straight out the gate. You don't have to have a million different acts. Like it's not necessary. Like you can have like two, one, two, three, and just continuously work on them and build on them. Everything is always going to be a work in progress. You don't need to keep like spitting things out just to be in a show.
Hmm.
It's not then kind of, you might not put as much, not the quality is going to go down. That's not the word I want to say, but like I did say it, but that's not what I want. That's not what I mean. Like it's just like you're just trying to spit something out. You're not putting your heart and soul as much into it as like some like a couple set pieces, just continuously evolving those. I think is something that's important because I feel like there's sometimes this like mad rush to be like I have to create like five acts for like one for each of these shows, but it's like nah, you can also like just take this one act and just throw something on it extra, or you don't have to be in that show. It's okay. There's other shows that want this act. Like keep don't it's also like a thing
Hmm.
about money. Like you don't have to spend a ton of money on creating all these acts all the time. Like yes, invest in like a good handful, a good three is
Hmm.
enough straight out the gate. Over time, obviously been doing for 10 years, like whatever, like do as many, I guess, because that's a long time. But in the beginning, like you don't need to be doing having all these new things straight out the gate. It's not necessary, honestly. I think Yeah, I don't know what else I've told people. Gosh,
Write in, people,
I
if
don't
you've been
know.
taught. If Jessabelle Thunder has said something to you,
Yeah. I
well,
sometimes
what
I
it,
just say things and people are like, "Oh, that's great." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
good, good, good. I mean, when it comes to building acts, Pearl Noir said to me at one point, one of the best things that I now impart to others is if you have an act or you have a costume, come up with like a good 3 to 4 songs that you can also do that
Hmm.
with that costume because of
Yeah.
different tempos, of different styles, because that will also
Hmm.
increase your bookability as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because if you have a
Penny.
high energy and then a mid tempo and then a slow burn, great.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Penny, Star, and Jewel told me something kind of related to that. And they just said, like, have different kind of like, they didn't say generic, but in my brain right now, I'm going to say generic. Have some kind of basic generic pieces that you can
Mm,
mix and match,
mhm.
not just like this one, I'm only a cat act. And then you can't put the pieces with anything else. Like, they were like, yeah, they kind of said the same, a similar thing. And
Yeah.
not the music, but just like have some like some gold pieces, some nude pieces that you can mix and match with something else. So you're not having to create all this plethora of costumes throughout the gate. You can do any show and just put these pieces together, new costume, like easy,
Hmm.
as opposed to creating something like from scratch every single time, which that was really helpful to me too. But I like the thing too about have one costume with different kind of music.
Different vibes.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I
different
mean,
vibes.
you're very often very monochromatic. Like if you're doing orange,
Mm-hmm.
you're all orange. If you're blue, you're
Yeah,
all basically the same shade of blue, even.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's because my brain doesn't think that much out of the box. I would like to be like colorful, but
You are
different.
colorful. You're
I
just
mean, but
the
like
same
different
color.
mix. Yeah, the different mix and matchy things. Like I don't know. Like my brain doesn't think about that. I just go blue,
It's blue.
red.
It doesn't
Yes.
have to be that complicated. It really doesn't. You have that one that's sort of like sherbet. It's sort of like the orange and the pinks and the
Oh, with
fringe.
the fringe. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's got some color. When fun story that I like to tell people is the first time I saw that costume when it got made for Lucha Vavoom, I was like, I didn't say it out loud, but internally I was like, I don't like this at all. Like I hated the colors so much. I every my day-to-day life is just black. Everything's black and
Uh,
gray and blue. Like
uh,
I struggle. Like the first time I started doing burlesque and Penny and Jewel were like, you can't wear black on stage because you're gonna fade into the back. Because I was like, oh, black costume. And they're like, no, like you can't be on this giant stage with a black background also in black. Like you have to add some dimension, some colors. And I was like, no, I hate colors. And so when I saw that costume for Lucha, it was for like a Cinco de Mayo show, and they wanted it to be like neon colors. I was like,
yeah.
"Oh my god, I'm never gonna wear this ever again." And then I started loving it. But in the beginning, oh my god, I was just like, I hate this.
It does sort of draw that line between offstage life and also there's a performance. You're a performer as well. There's a whole different
Yeah,
heightened identity.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But fun.
Well,
16 years of this. I've been through a lot of things. Still going
yeah.
through a lot of things. What's happening with my camera? Sorry. It's
It's
just
all right.
like, wow, it's like I don't exist. Okay.
You're just you. Oh, there,
Nope.
blurry.
Where is it? It's okay. I
There
just
you go.
gotta sit too close. Oh, that's weird. Anyway. Okay,
Uh,
whatever.
yeah. It's you have obviously it's been a roller coaster of a year. We're only in July. Do you have anything coming up in 2025 that you're like, oh, that's happening too? Right, 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 right. What's coming up that you're excited about
Wait, this month or the rest
this
of the
year?
year?
This
Or this
year.
the rest of this year? I'm going to London next week,
Lovely.
per usual. I think you got out of here during the summer, and now it's going to be hot, so it's not really going to be like a big break. I'm kind of mad about it. I hate the heat. Uh, and then Tito and I are going back to Australia in September.
Wow.
And then before Beehoff, I started to curate my own like little mini European tour in October. So that's happening for me in
Nice.
October. and then just other shows here and there around LA and uh Canada and San Diego, just various places until the end of the year. I don't have anything for December, but November I got some stuff. Like up until November, I have things lined up.
Do you thrive
So
in the administrative work of being a burlesque performer? Speaking of
not
not having an agent the way that
yeah.
some of our legends did.
Do I thrive? Not at all. It's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's very hard, especially like I've never put together a tour for myself. But before BHOP happened, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the month of October and I want to go to places I've never been. And that didn't really happen. I'm going back to places I have been, unfortunately. But I had to sit there and think like, how do I make this work? Like, how do I do this? Like, I didn't know where to start. Like, I go to London, but I go there so frequently. I just hit up similar shows, or I'm like, someone like, oh, I mean, you're coming. Let me book you for the show. Like, it's just happened over time that I've created this like life for myself there.
They're
But
good
in
problems to
terms
have.
of, yeah, no, it's great. But in terms of like when I starting from scratch, like going to places I've never been, I was like, okay, how do I do this? How do I write this email to them? Who do I know? I don't know people there, so I'm like, who do I know that's been there? Like it was so much work, and it's still not fully formed. It's mostly there, but yeah, it was a lot of admin work, lots of
Yeah.
emails back and forth, lots of like, yeah, so many follow-ups to people too. Like it's been a lot. Yeah, the admin is not my jam. I
Well,
just want to
it's part of
sit
it. It's
and
so much part
it's
of it
it's a
is you
huge part of it.
checking those message requests,
Yeah,
checking the
exactly.
sent folder, make sure it actually went through.
Oh my gosh,
And
yes.
everyone, some people like Facebook Messenger, some people like Instagram, so to like
Mm-mm.
create topics, group chats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. It's so much we have to hold. Again, the piece that people don't know about burlesque. Like I feel like if people knew all the layers of stuff we do, they would also value it more and respect it more too, right? Because like people just think we just pop on stage and just take our clothes off for four
Yeah.
minutes and then we're done. But it's like, no, there's a lot of work that goes into those 4 minutes. That's why we need more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we need better venues so we're not throwing our expensive costumes on wet beer soaked floors. Like, those are great,
See,
but those are fun for sometimes. But yeah, those call for
yeah.
different costumes.
See, the reigning queen of burlesque just said, higher wages, stronger venues. There we go. See, the advocacy begins. It begins.
Higher wages.
Ah,
Yes. I'm telling myself that too. That's a struggle bus for 16 years of being like, can I have a little bit more money?
yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. It's
the
hard.
struggle.
Self-advocacy is hard because again, we also want the work. We also want to just
Mm-hmm.
be places. But
Yeah.
if we settle, things don't
Yeah.
really, I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
I'm
hard.
really personally really bad at that. I don't like knocking on
Mm,
doors for one thing. I can maintain a
mm,
show. You get like
mm-hmm.
most things have fallen in my lap and I have
Yeah.
kept them going. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't like knocking on doors saying, please, sir,
Have some
may I
more.
put on a
Yeah.
show? I just
Yeah.
no. You say, oh, we have
Yeah.
a venue. Would you be interested in putting a show? Yes, right now. I'll
Mm,
make the calls, I'll make the emails. All right, let's do it.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
Ugh,
just
I'm struggling right now with trying to find it. I have like two notes in my notes app of venues around LA that I'm like, okay, I gotta just like find someone to get in contact with. I gotta reach out to people and ask. And it's hard. It's hard. It's really
mm,
the struggle. It's not happening, but I'm still trying to forge forward and make it work.
yeah.
But yeah,
Oof. Well, I look forward to finding out what's to come, where you can possibly go from here.
hopefully,
There's so much left. There's so much left, and I'm thrilled to see you. Um, that room was so excited when you won, and I'm so glad
oh,
to see you thriving in this
thank
world.
you.
And again, I don't say this, I don't give out faint praise. I'm actually really bad at that. So to say that you are really one of the most professional people that not only have I worked with, but that I know folks enjoy working with.
Thank you.
You really, really are. The drive, the energy, the skill, all there. You're a
I
complete package,
appreciate
Jessabelle. Goodness
Oh,
gracious.
thank
Leave
you. I
something for the
appreciate
rest of
you.
us. I will include in the footnotes all of the ways that people can keep in
Mm,
touch with what you do.
mhm.
When your assistant posts for you, of course.
Yes, the assistant. I
And
wish I had. Don't we all?
I fire my imaginary assistant on a regular basis, so I understand. Um, before
Yeah.
I let you go, and I thank you for being so generous with your time, where
Mhm.
does the thunder come from? Where does the name Thunder come from?
Where's the name? I thought you meant
Yeah.
like the
Where does
concept, the
no, it's
idea. Where does my
theological. Yes.
yeah
Where does the does it only happen when it's raining?
yeah
Yes.
exactly. It's my nickname from like undergrad, the college, like high school friends. Thunder, J Thunder. It's been my nickname
Really?
for a long
Wow.
time. Yep. So I was like, I want to incorporate that somehow. But now as I've gone on in my career, I realize how like meant to be, how like kismet it all was that Jessabelle Thunder is my stage name. I'm like, oh, that didn't happen from me sitting there and being like, who am I? Who do I want to be as a performer? What's going to represent that? It was just like, yeah, yeah. My sister helped me come up with Jessabelle, and then Thunder was like my nickname, and so I was like, yeah, yes, perfect. I love it, love it, keep it. And then now I've been like, oh my god, no, that is me. That is definitely me, Jessabelle Thunder. Like I see it. Like I'm like sweet and I can be cute and pretty sometimes. And then I can also like pack a punch. Like not
Yeah.
physically, but like, on stage.
Yes. Yes.
I don't punch people. Try not to.
No, now you can't. Now you're too famous. Now everyone knows who you are. Everyone's looking. Everyone's watching. Everyone's waiting
Yeah,
for you to go Instagram live and say something.
I know. That's I mean, honestly, I did. Oh my God, I so thought about that too. That was like the second thought in my brain. The next day it was like, I feel like people are gonna just wait. Some people might be out there waiting for me to do something wrong so they can jump on it. And Tito was like, "No, that won't happen. Like, F those people if they do." Like, I'm like, "Yeah, true," but that's just where my brain went because I'm just that
No, we
person.
are at a very cautious place, but
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
I think it'll be okay. But thank you for spending some time with me. It's been a joy. You barely scratching the surface, but thank you so much for the time.
Thank
Um,
you.
good luck with the rest of everything that's going on. Be safe
Thank
as you
you.
travel. I know
You
it's a really fucking
too.
scary time, but it's a really
Yeah.
fucking scary time domestically as well.
Yeah.
So you might as well
Everywhere.
go to
Everywhere.
Australia.
It's oh gosh, it's so hard, right? It's so hard to like be like, God, the world's crumbling, like everything is shit. But like we still like are trying to create this art and keep some joy in the world and for ourselves. Ugh.
Well,
For the
thank you
house
for being one
first.
of those people
Thank
doing
you.
it. So
Thank you as well. And thank you for
my
this
pleasure.
podcast and for the awards, the silver tusks and
Oh,
everything.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, folks, you can always throw some dollar bills, patreon.com/Weburlesque. Follow all of the
Hmm.
socials, Weburlesque and Victor Devon. They're in the footnotes if you don't remember how to spell them. Thank you very, very much, Jessabelle. Be well.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Ah.
We Burlesque the Podcast, created, developed, and edited by Victor Devon. Podcast artwork by Logan Laveau. We Burlesque the Podcast cover art photography by Atticus Stevenson. Theme song, On a 45 by This Way to the Egress, used with permission. All incidental music via Pixabay under the expectation of fair use. Please visit WeBurlesquePodcast.com for notes on this and every other episode. Follow We Burlesque and Victor Devon on just about every platform, and support the podcast via patreon.com/We Burlesque. Don't got the cash? Please follow, subscribe, and give 5 stars on every platform you can get your hands on. It really does help. All original material is owned by Victor Devon and White Elephant Burlesque Corporation. All of the materials property of their respective copyright. No infringement, while likely, is intended. This episode and all episodes thereafter are in memory of Lucky Charming. Miss you, friend. And that's it.
Woohoo!
Tonight on Murder, She Wrote.
Hooray!
Hey.
Yeah.
It's kind of Piper Laurie and Brenda Vaccaro at A Love Child.
Thank goodness.
I want to know
These
her.
nails. Yeah, where's her series? That's what
She's
I want.
fabulous.
The son is Joaquin Phoenix.
I know, isn't that nuts? And he is an ugly little kid. I'm sorry.
We're just like, hey, remember when this guy was in this obscure Broadway show in 1976?
Right? Look at him in those tight pants. Yum.
Well, because there's not
But
a
we
lot
do
really
get-
going on. It's
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're listening to the dialogue, which frankly, audience at home, you can do without us. We're just
Yeah, do
learning
your own
about
work,
some of these
damn it.
backstory. But
Right.
Boswell put her up to it.
Yeah.
And then Trish had to be killed because she realized that Boswell didn't have her interests at heart because Teddy was the inheritor.
Yeah.
Playing her like a fiddle.
Oswald knew it, and Trish just gulped it down like one of those martinis.
And then tossed it onto the lawn.
And then lost her head. Poor Trish.
Trish loses her head. This is Victor Devon.
And this is Petra Fried.
And this is Tonight
on Murder, She Wrote.